Welcome back to HISD Unscripted. Today we're going to talk about one of our amazing programs that we have here at HISD. My name is Kara Esquivel, and I'm the Director of Media and Communications for Hereford ISD, and I'm joined with
Kyla Kenworthy. So I'm Director of the Grant Services here at HISD.
Well, Kyla, it's great to have you on today just to talk about your program and all the work that y'all have been doing in our schools and with our students this year and into last year too. And so let's just talk about you for a second. Talk about your grants, how you got them, what they are, and just overall what y'all do.
So Hereford ISD got 2 mental health grants beginning last year. The first one is Stronger Connections Grant. We received that through Texas Education Agency. It's a 2-year grant that we're hoping to extend. The second one is Youth Prevention Universal. So that's through Health and Human Services. That's a 5-year grant. Through Stronger Connections, we offer crisis counseling. And so that is a result of the Uvalde shooting. So if we can do positive steps to help kids with coping skills and parents and community members, then how can we impact bullying and violence in our schools? With Youth Prevention Universal, we offer a curriculum that is about making positive choices in your life. If we can intervene early enough in a student's life, can we change the direction and the impact when you get peer pressure or social pressures later in life and change some of those consequences of life choices that we all have?
Perfect. So how many counselors are in your department as a whole with both grants?
With both grants, we have 5 counselors. So 2 with Stronger Connections. We have Ruth Sullivan and Tara Lara. And with Youth Prevention Universal, who are doing curriculum in the schools, we have Mariana Garcia. She's at high school. We have Leslie Garcia. She's at junior high and HPA. And we have Shelby Martinez at the elementaries.
So just based on what I've heard already in our schools and from our teachers and parents and things like that, I have heard just wonderful things about the work that y'all are doing.
Thank you.
And just the support that y'all are being able to give the students that need it. I think it's important for our listeners to understand that your counselors aren't like our normal school counselors. They are ones that go above and beyond and kind of go deeper into topics with students that need that kind of deeper connection or deeper learning and things like that. So y'all have been really helpful just for those students that have experienced, trauma or grief or just anything. And then also just being an extra listening ear for some of those as well.
Every support we can offer our school counselors and our principals, staff, we're here to help in any way that we can.
So I also want to talk about the role that y'all play in educating, our community and the parents as well. I know just a few weeks ago, y'all had a parent night where you showed them how or what vapes are available to these students these days and just the craziness that they are and what they look like and how they're disguising them as normal everyday things. So talk about that, your parent engagement, how y'all are reaching out to the community and things like that.
So you're right. We offered a parent meeting and students came as well. At our last one, we set up a mock teen's bedroom where we hid some vape cartridges. We hid some vape hiding spots. It's kind of interesting. There is a hair scrunchie that has a zipper pocket. There are caps and beanies that have zipper pockets. And we have a backpack that is supposed to insulate against drug dogs being able to sniff out the aroma of drugs. And so we just wanted to be sure that our community and our parents are aware of these things and how they have those conversations when they go home with their child. We have another parent meeting coming up this Thursday at 6 o'clock, housed at HCal, where we're going to talk about family communication. And so when a child is going through some trauma or anxiety or depression, how do we handle that at home? Can we help with some conversation starters or how we handle a kid with high anxiety? We just don't understand as parents. Sometimes I struggle with that, my own self. So any offer of help we can do, we're here for that. If a parent needs something or has an idea of something, we would welcome any reference or suggestion.
Well, I think it's great to have, that just parent learning option, Even me, who's like closer to the student's age, I don't know all these things and all the ways that these kids are being sneaky with their vapes. They're so creative, these companies that make things to just hide them from parents and teachers and just anyone, because you're telling me about the bra one, how it's like in their bra strap and like a scrunchie. Like I would never think of anything like that. Or as a parent, like I would never think to check those items. I know a few years ago we heard about the vape pens and the glue that looks like it, and so like, okay, I could see some of that stuff, but now they're just getting even more creative by the day.
They are, and it's hard to keep up with. And so that's part of our role, is to be sure we're up with the latest research, at least, in what's coming and what's going when it comes to the types of drugs that we're having and the interventions in place on the criminals' part to hinder legal action. So it is getting kind of a little crazy, a little scary. But we just want to be sure that our community and our parents are as informed as possible.
Well, and I know that y'all have a good connection with our local law enforcement and just talking with them about, what we're seeing in our schools, what we're seeing in our community. So I think it's great to have that connection. Just that way everyone is up to date about what's going on and how we can, educate our students and our parents on what to look for and, just what not to do.
It is getting crazy and creative, and it's kind of I hate to say it's fun, but it's interesting to understand what's coming from the other side as a counselor, as a parent, as a grandparent.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about your other grants that don't necessarily deal with, the drug use and prevention and all that. Talk about what they do in the schools and just give an overview of them.
So Ruth and Tara are part of our Stronger Connections grant, and they offer crisis counseling. How that works within our schools, what we've developed is alongside the school counselors, if the school counselor sees a higher need that they're not able to provide in the schools, they will refer them to us. Ruth and Tara then will go do an assessment. They will get parent permission to talk to that child. If the parent chooses to, we are happy to provide coping skills for high anxiety, for depression, for grief, for trauma, and in any other area that we're seeing. What we're seeing this year, and then unfortunately, we're only able to serve the high school, junior high, and Bluebonnet with that grant. I'm hoping when we expand the grant that we'll be able to expand to other campuses and keep providing more resources for our schools. What we're finding this year, we have more referrals because the principals, the staff, the counselors, the parents are learning that we really are here to help, and they're beginning to trust us more, so we have more referrals. While that's a good thing, it's also a little sad to know how deep some of the trauma is with our community and kids.
For sure. And I just kind of want to point out too, I've heard, well, why are the school counselors not taking care of these kids? And that is not true at all. If you see a regular school counselor schedule just on the daily basis, they are so almost overloaded with the amount of work that they have. And, their best interest is the interest of our kids, and they want to take care of our kids. And unfortunately, just sometimes the schedule doesn't allow them to get into that deeper counseling that they need, especially during times of trauma and grief and things like that. So I think that's why it's so great that we have y'all's program with, Tara and Ruth, who can just go in and just really dig deep and just give these students the extra support that they need. And it's like you said, I think that there's such a high need in our community. I mean, we were talking even earlier today about, the effects of COVID and how many of these students lost multiple people during that time. And then the students that were alone and isolated, and just how it affected their development, especially whenever they were such an early age. And so just having these resources in our district to provide the extra support, I think is such a great thing to have.
It is. I feel really blessed that our district has chosen to apply, and I feel really blessed we received these grants. I'm beginning to see the positive effects of these grants, and I'm hoping that we're able just to continue.
So I know one of the grants that you have, there's only 2 in the state of Texas, right, that are
in the school system.
Yes, that are participating in this program. How has that been, just working with them? Because I know they're on the way other side of Texas, but being able to just to have, you have limited resources with that, with, what you can ask for and help and things like that. So how have y'all navigated, just setting up a brand new program and things like that?
Well, fortunately for us, the other school district is Clear Creek ISD down by Houston. So yes, way across, a very, very different demographic, but they've been very supportive in helping us navigate. This is their third round, so they are in, I think, their 17th year of this grant, so I have lots of experience. Their learning curve has helped shorten our learning curve of getting going. So we're really blessed. Health and Human Services is really interested how the school districts are handling this grant versus outside agencies. And while there are challenges with each area, I just feel really blessed that our community and our administration felt strongly enough to go for this grant and that they entrusted it to our group.
For sure. We also agree with that and thank our community and our, district just for the support and seeing the need of our students and just reaching out to help meet that need. So you talked about your meeting on Thursday. What other meetings y'all have coming up that are kind of parent engagement, just classes, teaching them what their students are doing, what they're not doing, things like that?
So we offer a parent meeting every month except for January and except for May because we know how crazy school is with us. So I encourage everyone to follow us on social media, to look at our flyers that we have around town. The other options are, we part of the Youth Prevention Universal Grant, we have to do presentations. We would love to reach out to the community if somebody's interested in having us come and do a presentation with their group or business. We would love the opportunity to educate the community about some of the things that we're offering, how we can help support their community, their business, and any way that we can. I mean, we're not just here for our students. We're here for families and community as well.
For sure. And so if anyone out there, anyone listening from like the Lions Club or Kiwanis or any service organizations want the grant services department to come speak to them and just kind of educate them on what they do and just some of the stuff that they're seeing in our schools, please reach out. We'd love to set that up and just help them, help us, help you. It's a win-win for everybody.
It is, and we would appreciate any opportunity.
For sure. So is there anything that your department needs other than, just places to go speak at from our community to help just better support you and our students here in our district?
We're always in need of donations, of course. We offer snacks for our students. We also, sometimes we have to provide school supplies. Sometimes we have a clothing need. And while we work in conjunction with Snack Pack and other organizations for some of those things, sometimes there's an immediate need. And so any help that we could have in that area, we would desperately appreciate.
For sure. Well, thank you, Kyla, for joining us today. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about that we didn't hit on?
I think we've kind of covered most of it. I'm sure I'll call you again if there's another need.
Yes, for sure. Well, to anyone listening, if you feel compelled to just reach out and give to this department, please reach out to me or reach out to Kyla, and we can just make that happen. And, thank you again for coming on and just kind of talking about your program for a little bit. And we're intrigued to just be able to learn more about y'all and see all the good work that y'all do in our school districts and for our students.
Yes, thank you for having us on.
Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Remember, you can find us anywhere you get your podcast or watch us on Facebook and YouTube. Catch us next time with another important topic here in Hereford ISD.